SANRAL has embarked on a process to open offices across the country's 9 provinces. According to SANRAL's Chief Executive Officer, Reginald Dimana, opening provincial offices will allow the Roads Agency to better enhance its stakeholder engagement with various provinces and municipalities it serves. The 9 provincial offices will have their own provincial head. In the Northern Cape, Emile Du Preez has been selected as the head of the province. Joining me today on SANRAL TV is the Provincial Head of Northern Cape, Emile Du Preez. Emile, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's start with your journey. How is it that you decided you wanted to become an engineer?
My journey started at a young age when I had a big fascination with large structures and bridges. And in high school, I decided to follow a career in or study for civil engineering. And I came to Cape Town and studied civil engineering in Cape Town.
Nice. So I understand you've been with SANRAL for about 18 years. How was it that you came to join SANRAL?
So after graduating, I first started working for contractors for about 3 years in the UK. After those 3 years, I needed some design experience. So I joined Consulting Engineers, spent about 2 years with them. And after I got registered, I joined SANRAL in 2007.
Now, congratulations on your appointment as the Provincial Head of the Northern Cape. Although you're from the Western Cape, the SANRAL's regional office structure meant that you would need extensive knowledge and experience of the Northern Cape. Will your new role require you to have that deeper understanding, especially of the local communities?
Yes, for sure. I mean, the Northern Cape is one of our bigger provinces. We've got almost 4,500 kilometers of road under SANRAL's control. But also being with SANRAL for the last 18 years, this office looked after the Western region, and the Western region included Western Cape and Northern Cape. So basically, I've been working on the Northern Cape route since 2007. I've just before being promoted to this position, I was acting operations manager, where I led the team of routine road maintenance project managers that looked after the Northern Cape. I'm also actually finished school in the Northern Cape, so I'm very familiar with the area and the communities in the area.
Well, it sounds like you're well equipped for this new role as the head of the Northern Cape. What challenges do you envision?
Yeah, like I said earlier, one of my big concerns is the amount of mining activity on our network. So all of these manganese trucks use our national roads to take the iron ore and manganese from Kimberley through various routes down to PE. So, and a lot of those routes weren't originally built to the standard to carry all these heavy vehicles. They are more lighter passenger vehicle designs. So one of my focus things will be strengthening those roads, making sure that they're safe for commuters and heavy vehicles to use those routes.
Kimberley is well known for its big haul and diamonds. What other commodities will you be looking at in the area of the Northern Cape?
Well, at the moment, mining is one of the biggest economic activities in the Northern Cape. Mining for iron ore and mining for manganese. And predominantly, apart from the iron ore, but predominantly all of the manganese is transported on SANRAL roads by heavy vehicles.
Emile, one thing we know is that the Northern Cape is quite a big province. Can you take us through the areas that make up the province?
Yeah, sure. So currently, like I said, the Western region is about 6,000 kilometers. So now with the split, the Western Cape will be left with about 1,500 kilometers, and the Northern Cape my new office will cover 4,500 kilometers. And it is probably one of the biggest, by area, one of the biggest provinces in the country. So from the Kimberley office, I will serve the Pixley-Kaseme district municipality, the John Tsaole Gatsewe municipality, the Francis Baard municipality, ZF Macau, and Namakwa. Namakwa by itself is also a massive district municipality. So it's quite an area to cover and quite a distance for the project managers to move around to their projects. But we are still going to be closer to our stakeholders by moving to the Northern Cape.
Now, talk to us about some of the upcoming projects that you're looking forward to in the Northern Cape.
So currently, we have quite a few reseals in the Northern Cape. We predominantly focus on the reseals in the Northern Cape, but we also have some big CAPEX projects in design. I mean, just for this current year, my budget for the Northern Cape is 3.5 billion rands. So the big, nice CAPEX projects that's currently in design that will come is, one of them is the Kimberley Bypass, which will make a big difference to the city or the capital of Kimberley, whereas all these heavy vehicles travel through the center of town, they will now be able to bypass the town. And then also a very busy route that we have is from Orange River to Colesberg, and that section of the N1, which is also used quite a lot by heavy vehicles, will be dualed, so basically two lanes per direction.
Tell us about the benefits that will be going towards the local communities from the projects you'll be running in the Northern Cape.
Yeah, so all our projects as part of the contract documents state that 30% of the contract must be sublet to local SMMEs. And those SMMEs must be black-owned SMMEs to partake in the contract. So each and every one of the contracts, like I said, and the 3.5 billion rand that we have this financial year to spend in the Northern Cape, 30% of that will be in the hands of local black-owned SMMEs. And then also that there's local labour targets in all our contracts as well. So each one of the contracts will establish a public liaison committee. And through that public liaison committee, we will identify from the local communities any interest in job opportunities on the contract, and then the contractor is obliged to employ directly from those local communities for them to participate in the infrastructure projects in the area. So
what would you say the road ahead looks like for Emile and SANRAL?
Look, I'm very excited to start the new position in the Northern Cape. Like I said, I've got roots in the Northern Cape. So my dream would be to make a difference in the Northern Cape. Firstly, by fulfilling our mandate to creating safe roads for everybody to use, but then also using our infrastructure investment monies to create job opportunities, to create opportunities for SMMEs, because there's a lot of poverty and unemployment in the Northern Cape as well. So I think as a start, it's basically focusing on what we do well, spending money on infrastructure projects, but creating opportunities for the local communities of the Northern Cape.
Emile, thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you all the best on the road ahead as the head of the Northern Cape.
Thank you very much.